How do we define the purpose of our business? In this video, we're going to be checking out a few tools to help us define purpose in the workplace and in our personal lives. Let's go. What's going on? My name is Logan Skis, and today I'm checking out a few personality assessment tools to help us define purpose in the workplace. The purpose of an organization is tied to the culture, and the culture is composed of teams. Our teams are composed of individuals. So when we're thinking of defining the purpose of our company, we want to first begin at the level of the individual. All right, I've been working on a concept, how we can bring organizational leadership and their teammates into a virtual environment that helps them define aspects of their purpose, their passions, and their technical proficiencies in a way that weaves them together with their team, that defines their culture and builds the vision of the company. Why is it important to have a vision in a company? Because that vision directly translates into the shared narrative that employees bring to customers on a daily basis. You want to have alignment in that front. When we're positioning ourselves as guides in our customer's journey towards transformation, we enhance the customer's experience, we extend the customer life cycle, and we open ourselves up for more meaningful relationships with our customers. So with that in mind, let's conduct a little further discussion on the individual journey. I brought in this image here. It's a great reference point. I've been building a personality map prototype. So when we're thinking of where to begin, I think a great place to begin is a photo collage, having the individual bring in assets that represents themselves and doing it in a way that's informal, that's fun, and that's low pressure, whether that's for an executive client or frontline staff. From there, staying in that same bandwidth, leveraging imagery, have them bring in some things that represent a bit of their vision for the future. It can be abstract. We do this as an agency play. First and foremost, we want to drive agency, a sense of ownership and control over the dynamic with the end user. Agency is so important. We want our end user to feel a sense of ownership and control over this experience. As defining core motivations and drivers is a very personal experience, and we want to establish a level of psychological safety prior to diving in there. So building up some agency prior is a wise move. As leaders conducting this sort of effort for our team, or as coaches defining this sort of effort for our clientele, it's important to allow them to identify themselves in a sense as a cognitive grid coordinate, so we can get visual insight into how they see themselves, some of their best moments, and one of the aspirational qualities of their life moving forward. From there, it's great to begin in terms of formal assessment with the Enneagram. I'm a fan of the EIQ 9 test. It's really phenomenal. And getting a test like this is great. You can review it together. You can review it individually. There's a level of learning and reflection that can take place here that's meaningful at the individual level, but also for self-awareness. But there's also a team impact that can take place when we understand different aspects and characteristics of our teammates' personalities. That enhances social awareness. Conscientiousness is such an important part of a healthy team. Healthy teams have healthy team cultures. Healthy team cultures create healthy organizations. Healthy organizations have world-class customer experiences, and that drives the bottom line. But getting a bunch of papers like this in a PDF form or even printing them out seems somewhat halfway there. And in a world where more and more of our work is going into the virtual domain, having this printed off and dropped in a desktop file, it just doesn't seem like the best way to utilize this precious information. So one way we could go about representing this in a manner that continues the trend of building agency for our teammates, self-awareness for the individuals, social awareness for the team, is to represent it in a teammate panel, a leadership panel. Going through this one-on-one with your client, with your employee, and extracting out core learnings and representing them through the predetermined boxes or categories. This information provides room and material for great discussion to take place. So perhaps in another video, if you're interested, I can conduct further assessment on the Enneagram and even read through some of the results I got through the EIQ-9 Pro test. However, in today's video, my objective is to provide just a brief summary on an approach. What else could be represented here? You can see I've got this stage, the strengths-based leadership guide, Strengths Finder. We're going to build out a panel here to represent that. We're also going to go with the Japanese framework of Ikigai. If you haven't seen that before, it's quite something. Really love the overlapping circle framework that they've got. We're going to conduct a values to visions to goals activity through workshop, and then a 360 wellness architecture will be represented here. We'll have an ability to conduct a discussion and workshop activities on each of these core elements of our 360 wellness plan. From there, we'll move into flow profiles, and lastly, the statement of purpose. I love the idea of a statement of purpose, whether it's a sentence or a one-page document, something that qualifies and quantifies all of the assets represented in this individual setup. So perhaps the layout will evolve over time, as this is still a rough prototype, but we see this as a leadership profile. And imagine, if you will, stretching this across an entire executive team, across an entire leadership group, and being able to have discussions around this when you're doing leadership development and instilling effective principles for growing the organization, for reinforcing a healthy culture. These modules are instrumental for doing that, and they will feed directly into the culture aspect of our organization. You can see we've been referencing quite a number of texts here. Excited to get into that in the next video. That's all the time I've got for now, though. If you've got additional questions on how you can leverage the Enneagram personality test and represent it in a virtual workspace like I defined here, you can drop a comment below. If you want a venture map for your own, you can simply click the link below in the description and I'll send you a free blank version of that. Now, we've got a lot of different types of venture maps, but I've got one that's built specifically for those who are just getting started. In fact, we'll send you a full sequence on best action steps to take to get yourself a foothold in that virtual domain. So that's all the time I've got for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.